Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. Shop 30 to 50% off Movement's innovative California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories with fast free shipping and returns now at mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.
Are we allowed to talk about comic books in the actual show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so, but, yeah, so do you want to talk about your problem with Jonathan first of all?
Oh, yeah, Jonathan. Totally.
Not that she has a problem with Jonathan. She has a problem
Damn it, Jonathan.
Talk about with Jonathan.
It's been
You're
one
such
episode.
a guy.
I mean, really.
Welcome to Spockies. This is episode 17. My name is Tim Mitchell, and I am in Toronto, Ontario, and I'm joined by Jonathan Kuline over there in Mississauga, Ontario.
Yay!
And south of Mason-Dixon line, down somewhere in West Tennessee, we have Tammy Coron.
Hey now.
And Jaime is he's a traveling man.
Wait, isn't there a song?
Man.
Somewhere in the wilds of Texas.
Yeah, traveling man. Yeah. Yeah. Is there an El Paso song?
Yes. Deep in
There's
the
always
old
a song.
Something El Paso. Yeah, they used to use it on old El Paso taco commercials.
Yeah. Deep in the West, that's West Texas, town of El Paso.
There you
That
go.
one?
That's the one.
Yeah, that's where he is. Sorry, honey. We apologize. All right, so Jonathan, that's your name. Why don't you go through the new or the fact check that we had from last episode 16?
Fact check. So it's pretty short this week. We did a good job last week. Tammy kept us in line, which is good. 13.
Oh, actually, I put the stuff on here.
Well, 1325.
I did the fact check last week.
You could do the fact check. Yeah.
All right, I'll do the fact check. So at 1325, I mentioned the War Doctor, who of course was played by John Hurt, and that's where Tammy and I got off on a tangent about.
Imagine that, you and I getting off on a tangent.
I know. So we officially have 13 Doctors now, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But the 14th, and actually there's 15 Doctors because John Hurt plays who's known as the War Doctor, and he was in wasn't even that one from last year. 2 Doctors.
Is it Day of the Doctor?
The Day of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Day of the Doctor, starring David Tennant and Matt Smith, where they meet together and they have to solve a problem, and they end up meeting John Hurt, and Bad Wolf shows up, and all kinds of other stuff. And I'm sure there's a Dalek in there somewhere, and Queen Elizabeth, if I'm not mistaken, right? No, Queen
Victoria.
Yeah, right. Who apparently.
Can we put a pin in something that I want to talk about with David Tennant and Patrick Stewart later? I don't want to interrupt your fact. But I don't want to stop
that's
you.
fine. Well, you've already. But I just wanted to point out that is it Grand Moff Tarkin?
No.
Jonathan, Grand Moff Tarkin.
Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars: A New Hope. Yes.
Grand Moff Tarkin, played by Peter Cushing, was also a doctor at one point in a movie, not a TV show. Did you know that, Tammy?
Wait, there was a Doctor Who movie?
There was a Doctor Who movie starring Peter Cushing as the Doctor.
I didn't even
2
know.
of them, actually, I think. Yeah.
Great. I'll have to add it to the list of things I haven't seen that Tim is expecting me to see in the next 5 minutes.
And then well, I haven't seen that one either, but in the follow-up, I believe his companion was one of the guys from the Carry On group of people. There you go. The other fact check we had at 1332, shortly followed thereafter, we talked about the doctors that are going to be on the Doctor Who special, and I mentioned the actor who plays Filch on the Harry Potter series is David Bradley. He plays the original Doctor. You put the Walder Frey in from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's more contemporary. Yeah.
Wait, is
Sure.
Filch the guy with the eye?
No, that's Mad Eye Moody.
Oh, okay.
Filch is the caretaker with
Filch
the cat.
is the groundskeeper.
Gotcha.
He's always cleaning up the messes after Harry makes a big mess. Yeah. But he also played the Doctor in the docudrama An Adventure in Time and Space, where he was basically playing the original Doctor, who was William Hartnell. So he sort of reprised the role, as we'll talk about this in the Christmas special coverage in our main part of the show. But he played He played the Doctor as portrayed by William Hartnell, the first Doctor, the original Doctor, the Doctor, as he calls himself. All right. So in the follow up, we have I posted here a link here that which I just found was totally touristy and whatever. Not so far away from the Star Wars galaxy. You can actually go. Ireland.com is now having a touristy kind of thing where you can go and book an adventure and go and stay in all the places where they filmed Star Wars. I believe The Force Awakens and parts of The Last Jedi as well, right? right? So, which is kind of weird because that monastery is kind of on a protected island, which I don't understand how they're going to go back to that one. But yeah. So Jonathan, you got some stuff here?
I do. It's a little bit of follow up on some of our favorite themes from this year. So talking about Blade Runner 2049, which Tim and I loved, and I don't know if you had a chance to see that, Tammy, but Ridley Scott.
Is it on iTunes yet? Is it on iTunes? No, she
It is not. Digital copy's coming out on January, I believe, 16th. So it'll be there for you soon if you have 3 hours and nothing else to do. Ridley Scott was in the news this week. He took a couple of, I guess we'll call them shots. He was taking shots at Blade Runner 2049. Of course, he's the creator of the original Blade Runner. This one, he was doing an interview about his new film, All the Money in the World. And when he was asked by the reporter for Vulture about what he thought of the new movie, he basically started saying, well, I shouldn't really talk about it. And then he said, well, yeah, actually, I will talk about it. And he said, yeah, it was just too long. He said, I can understand why people had a tough time with it. It was too long, and it just wasn't.
But then again, he said it was his fault because he wrote that part, right?
Yeah, and he, I don't know if we want to use the words he used here, but he said, I have to be careful what I say. I have to be careful what I say. It was effing way too long. And then, he said, I sat with the writers, and I won't take credit for it, but we did go through this process. We had this huge long script, and he talks about some of the characters, and in the end he sort of backed off a little bit and said, no, I'm just being I'm being a bitch, basically, is what he said. I shouldn't slag it off, but he did. And so it's interesting to hear him come out and come at it that hard. That was a little surprising. And then the follow up to that is that today came out the news from our friends at Entertainment Weekly that there was discussion about whether or not there was a longer cut of the film, which seems highly improbable considering it was over 3 hours. But apparently the editor has come out and said, no, we deliberately cut all the extra stuff out. There is going to be no director's cut. There's going to be no extended cut because there was rumors out there was going to be a 4-hour cut of the film for future release. Now, who's to say down the road they won't do something more? But according to the Insider, it's not happening right now. And following up on Ridley Scott taking shots at Blade Runner, now we've got Stephen King taking shots at the Dark Tower movie. So Stephen King, of course, the original author, was doing an interview talking about 2017 where he had this big comeback. It was one of the It was one of the biggest films of the year, and
the movie It.
Are we talking about the new It?
The new It was one of the top movies of 2017 at the box office. And
I can't make the noise online.
Clearly, Tammy has a thought on this.
Yes, I do. I have thoughts on Stephen King in general, but they go from why would anyone continue to read Stephen King? His stuff lately has been just boring, same thing, churning it out. He's just got the name, so he can put things together where aliens poop out of your butt, and people are like, "Oh, Stephen King wrote that. It must be great." No, it's not. And then the remake of It, you can't touch the original. I'm sorry, the original was just the bomb.
You talk about the one with Tim Curry.
Yeah, this new one, I saw it. I was all hyped for it. Maybe it was just the overhype, and it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. And then
well, you're not the target market. That's the thing with these remakes, right? They're all meant for the new audiences who may not have
here we go
seen
again. Get off my lawn.
The ones done in year one,
get off my lawn. But in all fairness, I had all but given up on Stephen King after seeing a lot of what he has been doing lately. And then someone said, "Hey,
so get off his lawn."
Get off his lawn. And then someone said, "Hey, check out American Vampire." So I started to look through it. I'm like, "Hey, this is pretty good." Then I realized that Stephen King is part of it.
Ooh.
And then to take it a step further, I get on Netflix and I start looking through, hey, what can I watch? And I see this thing called 1922, which apparently is based on a novella by Stephen King. So I'm like, all right, let me watch it. And granted, sometimes the movie adaptation from the book is not that great, or sometimes it's completely different, World War Z, and it's either not that great or it is better than the novella or novel. But in this case, I was absolutely blown away to the point where I even tweeted about how much 1922 was one of those shows, one of those movies that you watch and you're like, wow, this is really good. Now, Stephen King has a history of his novels generally translate very well to film. I have yet to see a Stephen King novel or novella that didn't translate from written word or written page to movie screen. I've never read 1922, but my assumption is that if his previous work translated that well and was pretty much true to the story, then this one would be too. So all this, I don't like Stephen King talk. I'm like, oh, but he did American Vampire in 1922. Maybe I do like him again. Maybe he's
Does the world need two Carries, though?
No, they got to stop remaking this stuff. Have new ideas.
Yeah, and they're coming through that cycle for all this stuff because they're bringing, I think, Firestarter's getting remade. There's talk of a new Pet Cemetery. Really? They're making It Part 2.
Am I allowed to curse on this show? Because people are turning out poop. I'll go with poop because I don't want to have Tim to have to explicit this. Yeah. But they're turning out poop. They're turning out crap. Nobody is thinking anymore. They're just, here's a story. It's kind of like the gaming industry. Nobody's really putting thought into it. Nobody's pushing the envelope.
Well, I think it's the Hollywood engine too, right? Like they go for what worked before, they figure will work again, but it doesn't. That's not.
Have you seen the remake for Children of the Corn?
No, I never saw the original one, so it doesn't matter.
Go out and watch the original one, then go out and watch the remake, and you'll be like, "What? Yeah. What is this garbage?"
Did you watch the remake of A New Hope?
No, there's no remake of A New Hope.
Yeah, it's called The Force Awakens.
Oh, jeez. No, I can't get through the new Star Wars.
So here, speaking of the news, we don't care about spoilers for Tammy because she's seen this before. But spoilers for people who haven't seen the Jedi movie. Jonathan, you know the part where we're on the island and we see as Rey arrives and she looks down the cliff into the water, she sees the X-wing parked there in the water. Of course, it hasn't got a lick of algae or mold or whatever on it. It's like he just parked it there last week, kind of thing, right? But do you think that was a throwback to when he sunk the X-wing on Dagobah?
Yeah, I guess it is. But I mean, it just looks so perfectly placed. I get the feeling he landed on Octo and then just picked it up with his mind and dropped it in the water. And
but like why
it doesn't have algae on it or everything else. We don't know what that is.
It should have coral growths on it if he's been there for 30 years.
But we're doing that by the rules of what we think water is. This could be a planet made with, that could be liquid something else. Who knows, right?
Oh, it's true. Yeah, liquid milk or something.
Yeah, it could be just blue milk, all blue milk.
So riddle me this, Batman.
Yeah.
I have read all sorts of things on Twitter, on Facebook, in social media, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That all these people are very upset with.
Oh no, we're going to get to that. You haven't read the document. Okay. We're getting to that. Yeah, just hold that thought. Okay. Let's skip the next one there.
Let me finish the Stephen King one. Anyway, Stephen King was talking about for people who are still following this thread. Stephen was talking about the Dark Tower.
For those of you driving at home, transporting
it home. So Stephen King was talking about the Dark Tower, and he was asked why it worked so well and why Dark Tower didn't work so well. And he said as far as he's concerned, that it was the decision to make it a PG-13 movie. He said they were trying to do too much, to be too broad. They wanted to build a tentpole, as we were just talking about. They're trying to build a franchise, trying to build something that could make 6 movies. And he said they just blew it by trying to go for everybody from age 12 to 35 and just couldn't figure out what to make this movie. And it ended up being too puerile for people who loved the books. It ended up being too complicated for people who didn't. And so it tanked. And I think he's got a fair point. I mean, I haven't seen the film, but I must admit from everything I read about it and saw all the trailers and everything else, like nothing latched onto me from it. I didn't want to go see it.
Right. They were trying to do Ready Player One kind of thing effect, right? Yeah. To have it ready for everybody and have all these references and stuff. But it seems to me that Stephen King books, I will hand to heart, handheld in the air. I have never read a Stephen King novel, but I assume that they're generally, but they're generally, I would assume that they're generally horrific, right? I mean, like they're not meant for kids, right?
No, they're not meant for kids.
No, I don't. I can't say I remember reading a friendly one. Although some of them are thrillers, some of them are, like he wrote Stand By Me. I mean, he's written some, more psychological,
some mysteries,
mystery and thriller.
Have you ever read Dean Koontz?
I have.
Are you asking me?
Tim, have you?
Is it a movie? No. I may. No, I don't think I have. Not on purpose.
If given a choice of reading Dean Koontz or Stephen King, I would read Dean Koontz. However, after seeing 1922, I might give Stephen King another chance. That said, if given an option of those two or Harlan Coben, I'd go with Harlan Coben every time. Because he's new. It goes back to what we're saying. Stop refurbishing and republishing these things that have been done before. Yeah. You can't, even with the Star Warses, it's like, now, granted, maybe I'm not a huge fan like everybody else, but I can't watch the new Star Warses ever since they came out with The Phantom Menace. It's like, who cares?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Are we done with the Dark Tower? There,
yep,
Jonathan?
That's done with Dark Tower.
Have we buried it?
Sorry, Jonathan.
Toppled the tower.
I'm terrible with staying on track.
That's all right. This is one of the fun parts of this podcast is we kind of see where our conversations take us. So we lost one of our original Star Trek actors this last week, Alfie Curtis, the guy who played Dr. Evazan, the guy who doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
He doesn't like you either.
He got like 10
We're
words.
wanted men. We have the death sentence on 12 systems.
Yeah, he got 10 words in the original Star Trek movie and was an icon ever since. Alfie passed away this week. He was, I think, they said he was 87.
He was in, was it him that was in Rogue One in the crowd scene?
There's a cameo with him and Ponda Baba, the guy who plays the Walrus Man, was a cameo.
Yeah. The butt face. Yeah.
We also had a couple of interesting little quick hits here this week. Deathstroke, who's been a recurring character on the Arrow TV show and the Arrowverse. Apparently DC has told them hands off once again. Warner Brothers has told them hands off once again. He was back this season. They've been told now that they're putting him as a character into the cinematic universe that they're not allowed to use it, so they have to write him out of the TV show for the second time. They apparently had to do that once already. So apparently,
does he go on vacation or something like that? He goes Vegas vacation or something.
It's funny because he was a major character in the second season of Arrow, and then he disappeared, and then they brought him back, and now they have to disappear him again because they've been told hands off. So it's kind of a yo-yo string, and I wonder how many different characters they'll do that with too over the years as they start expanding the film universe. Things they were allowed to do that aren't allowed to do, and so it's a weird little yo-yo string for fans of the TV show. Krypton, they've announced the premiere date for Krypton. The Sci-Fi Channel in the United States is going to be premiering this, and it's actually not that far away. It's March 21st, 2018. It's going to be on Sci-Fi. This is the prequel to the prequel of Star Wars, of Superman.
Super guy.
Yeah. So this is supposed to be about the family, the House of El. It's supposed to be Superman's grandfather and sort of the life on Krypton pre-Superman era. So I can't decide if I'm excited about that or not, but I think, like most genre shows, I will give it a chance and see what it's like. Bright, the TV show the TV film for Netflix we talked about, apparently did well in its first few days. They said it's got 11 million viewers in the U.S.
Have you watched it yet?
I haven't, actually. I
watched it.
Been wanting to do that as part of my Christmas week off, but I have not had a chance. I think I might watch that either tonight or tomorrow, but I'm keen anyways to see, although right now it's sitting, I think, at 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, which does not necessarily you want to dive in as much, but then
it was entertaining. It blows up real good.
Yeah, again, I don't always agree with the Rotten Tomatoes sentiment as evidenced by Last Jedi and some of the other things.
Yeah, I think I think like the Last Jedi, it probably has a lot of things that the average person wouldn't like. I mean, there's a lot of, you have to suspend disbelief and believe in the whole, fairy universe sort of thing, literally fairy universe. But and sort of the streets of LA and all the sort of there was somebody, I read something earlier today about somebody was upset about all the racial undertones in the movie, and it's what it's all about, right? So it's good. I mean, like, it's very entertaining from that point of view. It almost seems like, okay, when's the next episode going to be on? It's I don't know if it would have been a theatrical type release myself, or maybe it was. I don't know. It was a lot. Things did blow up real good. They blew up as well as they would in a theater. But I definitely would watch.
Yeah, I think it was Chance the Rapper that was talking about that. I saw that earlier today.
Maybe
Chance the Rapper was criticizing the depiction of race relations because they not unlike Alien Nation, the movie we talked about last episode. That's there's sort of a veiled, very thinly veiled idea there of speciesism versus racism, and
right.
Yeah. And you said you got something else here for us.
Yeah, so I this is what Tammy was talking about, where she had heard that a lot of people are upset about the quality of the cinematic reproduction of The Last Jedi, and spoilers again for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet, but at around 1 hour and 54 minutes, there's a scene where a character drives a galactic cruiser through another one as it hits light speed, and basically slices one in half, right? Like slices another galactic cruiser in half, and it's a pinnacle point in the movie. But what's interesting about it, Tammy, you've and the story is that AMC is posting warnings for people who go into the theater to say that the effect that you're going to see is intended to be seen the way it was produced by the directors of the movie.
Yes, there's a sign there that they put up, but they're making it. They're making it.
So let me ask you a question though. So you've experienced thunder and lightning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see the lightning, and then a few seconds later you hear the thunder,
and then usually the tornadoes right behind it. But yeah,
right. Well, forget about the tornadoes for a moment, because what happens is in the movie is this thing happens, and you're meant to be looking at it from like parsecs away, like a light year, like from here to the halfway to the moon, as far as where the point of view is. I mean, what I'm saying, right? And so you see the thing happen, and then there's about a 4-second delay before the sound hits you, right? And people are complaining that effect makes it seem like the audio is out of sync with the movie, and so they're complaining and asking for their money back and stuff like that. So AMC's had to post this thing in the theaters saying this is for real. This is how they intended it to be, and it's amazing because I know when I saw it, I saw it the first weekend it was out, and people actually gasped at that effect. They thought that was so cool the way that the creators of the movie did that, right? And as I was saying earlier when we were talking about other things, or maybe we're talking about Bright, where I said that, or maybe a Dark Tower or something, where people, you're not the target market. I mean, if this confuses you, then and you don't know that much about physics and things like that, then maybe you shouldn't go see The Last Jedi.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when I read the story, they weren't talking about the sound delay. Like I didn't even know that sound delay existed. When I read the article, they were saying that the film went silent for
4 seconds.
And I thought it was the article I read said 10 seconds.
Yeah, the sign from AMC says 10 seconds.
Yeah,
does it? Okay, well, I don't know if it's
on there.
But I was reading it and I'm like, this is BS, because I don't know if you remember the movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock and what's his face, the doctor guy.
Yeah, what's his
George
face?
Clooney.
Yeah, Jonathan's favorite actor. Second favorite actor.
So they had that scene where those two were outside in space and it was freaking quiet. I mean, dead silence. Yeah. And so when I read this article and this whole thing that AMC posted about, it's going to be quiet for 10 seconds and this was a cinematic decision and this is like groundbreaking. In the article, they were like, this is like groundbreaking. I'm like, no, it's not groundbreaking. Gravity did this, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
This is not.
Star Trek did it when they blew up Klingon or Klingon homeworld.
This is this hype.
Undiscovered country.
This like beating of the drum, this driving force that's saying, let's stir up trouble any way we can, as opposed to, hey man, let's just enjoy this experience. Sit back, light up, and enjoy.
Exactly, I think the reality is that when you have a movie that's as broad as the Star Wars films are, that are for such a huge audience, you're going to get every level of person going to see these films. And some people are people who are science fiction nuts, who are nuanced and understand. And some people are just like, hey, the movie's quiet. It must be broken. I think.
So here's a pro tip for folks out there who may not know this trick. But next time you see lightning, count Mississippi.
Oh, no, because the tree will go through the damn window and eat me like it happened to the kid in Poltergeist. I saw that. I know how that is.
Hang on. So you'll see the lightning, count the Mississippis, and generally speaking, the number of Mississippis you count is the number of miles away that the storm is.
Just make sure you're not next to a tree and a window.
Between when you hear it and you see it.
Because Carol Ann's going to be like, they're here.
Okay, but if the lightning and the thunder are at the same time, then the storm is right over top of your head.
Run.
That's my point, right? But if it's like 4 or 5 miles away, there's going to be a 4 or 5 second delay, 4 or 5 Mississippi delay.
Dude, you know that was creepy. You know that was creepy when the kid was sitting in his bed and they were counting and like the tree looked like a hand.
Oh, did they do that? Oh, they do that. Oh, okay. Cool. Didn't know that.
Oh, tell me you didn't see that movie.
I didn't see that movie.
See, you pick on me on Roundabout about all this crap I haven't seen, and here we are on
but it's horror. It's not a horror podcast. It's a sci-fi podcast.
We need a horror podcast. Let's spin up podcast number 4.
All right.
And that's it for our FU.
Did it ever take that long to go through FU before?
Usually. Well, that's like 30 minutes at least.
You gotta stop leaving the door.
We normally go through those fast. Yeah. So what should we do? Should we do the
It's not my show, but that's what I want to do.
All right. Well, we want to get to the Spockies as well too, but okay. All right. So
are we going to do the we're going to do the Spockies, or are we going to do the 2018 movies?
Wait, it's a Spockies.
It's two different lists.
Yeah. Well.
Wait, where's the Spockies list? What are we talking about?
Well, hang on. That's later on. Let's talk about Doctor Who. The Doctor Who Christmas Special. Okay, so here we go. The Doctor Who Christmas Special, starring 2 doctors and 1 companion who, as we know, comes back from the dead, which is always a good vehicle for things, right? What did you think? For those of you who haven't seen Doctor Who, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to bugger off while we talk about Doctor Who starting. Oh, wait, I better start a timer, right? And we're going to stick to 10 minutes this time, right, guys?
Wait,
Yes.
so for 10 minutes, we're talking about Doctor Who?
Yep. Spoilerific.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So starting now. Go.
I can't believe they killed him. I'm just kidding.
Both of them.
Well, so I mean, like, yeah, when Bill came back, I mean, that had to be because Bill died as she became a Cyberman.
Oh, that was so sad. Did you see the whole Christmas Day?
I love that. I love time travel things. I love the fact that she was there for like 5 years and the amount of time that it took him to move like 4 inches.
Yeah,
right?
but that was so sad. Rewatching that whole season on Christmas Day, the whole marathon.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I put the whole marathon.
You
on.
didn't like Bill. I want to go back to roundabout like 6 months ago or a year ago.
I wasn't wild about
point
Bill.
out that Tammy didn't like Bill.
I didn't like Bill. It's not. It just I missed Clara. I liked her.
Yeah, I miss Clara too. She was in this one too.
Yeah, but for like not very long.
No, but she's busy off being a queen.
But let me tell you, I did like how they spun it to be all about a positive message versus we want to destroy everything on this planet type of message, which, you know, Daleks and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like the little baby Daleks running around on that planet that they went to? Little crab guys?
I didn't know what they were at first.
Yeah, it took you a while?
It took me about 5 minutes. It almost took me to the point where he went up into the tower and met Rusty. And I was like, I said to Jake, I'm like, Rusty. Oh, Rusty. I had to remember that.
You didn't remember Rusty?
I can almost see myself on one of those visual screens where like they grab in their hands and they throw things aside. And I'm doing the motion. I wish you could see what I'm doing. I'm like, oh yeah, Rusty. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Rusty was good.
Yep. I just, I must admit, we talked about this a little bit last week, but Peter Capaldi never really deeply resonated with me. I thought he had some very good episodes, but overall, I mean, I think I definitely preferred Matt Smith and Dave Tennant.
Yeah, but who? Which one more?
Matt Smith.
Really? Oh, gee, Jonathan, I'm not sure we can be friends.
It's very close. It's very close. I do love them both, but I think the Matt Smith one always won me over because I have a mad crush on Karen Gillan. So any episode that had her in it would have me, 100 times out of 100. So
yeah, but can we be honest here? How long did it take you to warm up to Matt Smith? Because it took me probably about 4 episodes before I was like, all right.
Wow, you're really hard to change, man.
Really? Where he crashes in Amy's backyard and she's a little girl. I thought that was a great episode. Like that was a very strong debut, and I felt like Capaldi never really got off on the right foot for me that way.
He took about 8 episodes for me.
Yeah, it's
my only thing about the crash landing in Amy's backyard was it reminded me of that Drop Dead Fred show.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that one always, I really liked that debut, and that really was strong for me. It was interesting, and I think this will be the interesting challenge for the Jodie Whittaker part coming in as a new Doctor. Is it's new Doctor, new companions too, and that's what it was a clean.
But not companions.
Well,
exactly. They're not going to have Bill.
No, but that's what I mean. Is this is the first time because when David Tennant picked up, he had Billie Piper was already established as the companion, so he had to pick up where she was, and then Capaldi had to pick up.
Oh, so you're saying new companion and new Doctor?
Yeah. So Matt Smith was the first one since the series reboot that was the sort of brand new. Let's start it all fresh, and this will be the same thing for the Jodie Whittaker Doctor, where she has a whole fresh slate and a new. People also we keep talking about Peter Capaldi, but this wasn't just Peter Capaldi's last episode. This was the last episode for our showrunner too. So
sure,
we've also.
She also has no TARDIS. I don't know if you caught that at the very end.
Yeah, but can I ask a question about that whole TARDIS thing in the end of the show?
Yeah, sure.
The first thing my son says to me, he's 14. He says, "I don't understand this." Him and I, we've been watching Doctor Who for a while now. He says, "I don't understand this.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to regenerate, why the hell are you in your TARDIS trying to fly it around? Why don't you just park your little self somewhere, regenerate on a nice little island or somewhere safe, and then regenerate?" I don't get the fact that she freaking fell out of the damn TARDIS. What is that?
Well, first of all, he didn't want to regenerate. He was trying to avoid it. Right?
He sort of, but in the end, he sort of relented, accepted the fact that this was going to happen, right? Yeah. I mean, you're a doctor. You've been through this. You're a Time Lord. You understand the whole regeneration process. Eventually, it's going to happen. happen? Why the hell are you in your TARDIS when it's going to happen?
Because it's
He's always
dramatic.
in the TARDIS when it happens.
But you're going to break something, dude, or in her case, fall out the damn ship.
Yeah, but he's not the first Doctor to regenerate in the TARDIS.
He is the first one to fall, or she's the first one to fall out.
Fall. Well, that's Capaldi's fault. He left the door open, right?
Is that what happened? I couldn't figure out how that happened. I was sitting there. I'm like, well, now how the hell
watched
did that happen?
You can't go back and watch it again because you were watching it on demand, right?
Yeah, no, I can't. I'm done. I can't see it unless I get it from iTunes.
Yeah, I have it PVR'd. I can go back and watch it again, try and figure that out for next week.
Because I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my kid. I'm like, how the hell did she fall out? And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ! Now everybody's gonna be like, see, women drivers.
I was thinking the same thing for a second there too. You know,
I'm like, really?
Thing.
That's how they're going to bring it on?
But you know what? That's the thing though. It's an interesting point you bring up because there's going to be so many comparisons to the fact that she's a woman and that affects her behavior, which is clearly wrong.
Right, and the first thing they do is make her fall out of the damn TARDIS.
Yeah.
Right, and you know me, Tim. You know I'm not into the whole man-woman thing. But first of all, Missy, she was a Time Lord, so it's not like we've got our first female Time Lord. We've had one before. This
and
nothing new.
And River Song too, right? River Song regenerates at one point, doesn't she?
No, she just dies.
Yeah.
No, she goes into a computer.
No, I was watching a.
She does not regenerate.
There was a special. That was on just before, and I've got it PVR too. I can go back and watch it. But there was a scene where she regenerates.
No,
where she goes all orange and glowy, like So
I'm losing my mind. I don't remember that.
But then again, River Song is Amy Pond's daughter, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because she calls him Sweetie, right? The Doctor, that is.
Yeah.
She has a thing for the Doctor.
Yeah.
And doesn't the Doctor have a thing for her?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, they're in love, I think.
Yeah.
You could say that.
Isn't River Song the only one who knows his real name?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. But she isn't she sort of a time travel-y type person?
She's a time traveler, but she's not a Time Lord.
Okay. Well, yeah, because she's Earthling.
Well, and they're having that great, I mean, it was really excellent storytelling, right? Because she encounters him before he encounters her. So she has the upper hand on him through the whole relationship, right? Even though it's the first time he meets her, she's already met him before and uses that against him through the, I thought that was great. And Alex Kingston's fantastic as that character. But I think, I think what I took away from this episode was I don't care as much about old Doctor Who, and I mean that in all senses of the term here, as I think a lot of traditionalists. I was not a Doctor Who fan prior to the revival in the early 2000s. And so I don't have that beholden sense of 50 years of Doctor Who history and you know, William Hartnell and all this stuff. So when they get this deep into the well, like they did in this episode, I start to tune out a little bit. I don't care that. I want a really well written goodbye episode or a new regeneration episode. And this for me it didn't knock my socks off. I thought their performances were great. I thought, it was great to see, David Bradley's a great actor and Peter Capaldi did a great job. It's nice to see Bill come back and we had Mycroft, what's his name, playing.
That
guy.
He's one of the writers actually too.
I felt like they made the original Doctor seem stupid.
Well, it's not so much that is that old and codgery and stuff like that. But that was the thing that I've heard some complaints about, the fact that there was too much banter back and forth between the two Doctors about who the Doctor was, and that sort of vague Capaldi not telling the original Doctor what the deal was, right? But yeah, it was there. And when you think back on it, there did seem to be a lot of but I'm the Doctor. No, I'm the Doctor. After you. No, after you. Kind of nonsense, right? That kind of ate up a lot of screen time. And there was a comment there where David Bradley said that I was the first Doctor, and like as if he was the first one to regenerate, which in TV history was true. But surely there must have been Time Lords before that, and if the way these guys work, you would think that they must have regenerated, because Capaldi says he's 700 years old at one point, right?
Yeah, he just felt it felt to me like the original Doctor was like, oh, what's going on here? I don't understand.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
Exactly, and it wasn't
because if he's
believable.
the Doctor, he should be able to put two and two together. Yeah, exactly. He should be able to put two and two together and get four at least. Right? Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to do
at least three. Even I could get three out of that.
Yeah. Well, we have a minute 30 here to go on Doctor Who. So
has anybody? I must admit, heard anything about a debut for the next season? My only concern with when they do these regenerations at the Christmas episodes, which is not something I'm wild about, is that huge gap. We end up on this cliffhanger, and I guess that's supposed to make us want to come back when it comes back. But, you know, we get this little, this big emotional farewell, and then we get this new introduction.
Well, it's also Stephen Moffat leaving the show too, don't forget, too, right?
That's right. And so, we get to the end of this, and it's this great sort of passing of the torch, and now we wait, and we have to wait till probably next summer before we see more episodes.
Yeah. It's not like we have to wait 17 years for the next
episode. Or you can wait till 2019 for Game of Thrones. I mean.
Yeah, well, again, there's been a lot of things that have been long waits over the years for sci-fi fans. So, and again, we just talked about Blade Runner. I mean, how long did we wait for the Blade Runner sequel? So
yeah, a long time, 80-something, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
They know you'll wait. As a fan, they know you will wait.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, too, like, I didn't watch Doctor Who in the black and whites. I do remember it vaguely, but, I mean, I started watching Doctor Who in the, John Pertwee and Tom Baker era, right? Where it was a bit like Sci-Fi Avengers, remember the old Avengers TV show? It was kind of like that ridiculousness. And, being a Doctor Who fan in back in those days, and people can yell at their phones all they like, but it was almost like being an Apple fanboy when Apple was going through the hard times, because there was a long period of time there where Doctor Who wasn't all that great, to be honest with you, as it was great television, but it wasn't great compared to other things that were being done at the same time.
Well, the production value was so low. I mean, it was painful to watch.
Yeah.
I remember I had a whole bunch of British expat friends when I was growing up, and they were all brought it over here as, oh my God, you're a sci-fi fan, you must love Doctor Who. And I tried to give it my best when I was, 10, 12 years old, and I just kept saying,
sure,
I'm sorry, but that terribly decorated box with the plunger on it is not working for me, it's just not. Like,
don't feel bad, because my husband tried to get me into it with the Ninth Doctor, and I was like, this sucks. The guy's an asshole. I can't watch it.
Which one's the Ninth Doctor?
What's his name? Jonathan, you should know this.
Oh, I've already established you mean the from the reboot stuff?
Yeah. Who was?
Oh yeah, what's his name? Yeah, Eccleston.
Eccleston.
I couldn't watch it. He's like, hey, watch this. I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah. Well, he made Peter Capaldi. He sort of softened Peter Capaldi's rough edges.
I guess so, but I really didn't start getting into it until the 10th Doctor.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, so you hadn't watched any of the stuff from the 70s?
Here and there, but nothing like, oh, I got to watch this. With the Christmas episode for the the new Doctor, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I started watching Doctor Who more seriously when I probably watched every episode, or I think I probably skipped a few episodes, I should say, of the Eccleston era. I wasn't that Billie Piper. I liked her, but I wasn't that sold on him as a Doctor, as you say. Like, I think I started watching more regularly once David Tennant came along and it was the Doctor, right?
Exactly.
So, and you got to remember too, we didn't have PVRs back then either, right? If you wanted to save something like that, you had to grab a VHS and make a copy of it, and that was probably too much work, right? So
you had to be home at a certain hour.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There was no streaming.
Like,
if it was on, it was on. If you didn't see it, you didn't see it.
Well, there was no Space Channel, which is where I watch them now, which is a sci-fi channel compared to you guys in the States, right? So yeah. Anyway, that's our Doctor Who wrap up. We got to wrap that guy up because it's been over a minute now since we've been off that one. So what's next? The movies or the Spockies?
Well, let's see. Do we want to do a year in review, or do we want to look forward to 2018? We can. I think we'll cover one of these this week, and we'll save another one.
Well, let's do the Spockies, and Jaime can weigh in a vote, on his own when he hears this episode, and then we'll do the Spockies nominations this week, and then we'll with Jaime we'll sort of finish that off. Right?
So I'm going to throw that here. So just having a little bit of fun is killing some time on my iPhone this week. Decided to make a list of, we're going to do and I used to do this when I was doing writing articles for the newspaper and stuff. Year in review. What's our best picks? So I started listing off all the best genre pictures, science fiction, a little bit of horror mixed in, and started going through the best TV shows, started going through who I really like the performances from. So I'm going to run you down our best picture candidates for the Spockies this year, our first annual awards show. So our nominees for best picture, we've got Logan, the final Wolverine movie, Blade Runner 2049, Star Wars The Last Jedi, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy,
which I saw, by the way, this week.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Get Out,
which I have not seen yet,
It Chapter 1.
No, don't vote for that one.
The Shape of Water, which
that sounds interesting. A lot of people get
the new Guillermo del Toro, which is getting a lot of buzz. War for the Planet of the Apes.
Haven't seen that one.
Wonder Woman.
Haven't seen
Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets.
I think you can probably strike through the Valerian one right now.
You didn't see Wonder Woman?
I haven't seen it yet, no. But I can't imagine that Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Didn't that get panned by everybody? It did get panned,
although I know you I have an affection for Luc Besson and his filmmaking, so I I have not watched it yet, but I must admit it's on my radar.
And what other films has he done?
He did The Professional. He did The Fifth Element.
Right. Okay.
He's very, very excellent filmmaker. Although apparently this one was not necessarily on the mark, but I love his vision. I love the way he just pushes things. So I'll give it a watch.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
And my final nominee is the Lego Batman movie.
I don't even understand that one.
The Lego Batman movie?
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I love the Lego Batman movie. I thought that was
really.
I thought it was hilarious. I think Will Arnett is the best Batman we've seen in the last 20 years.
I'm looking at the list. I'm like, what?
Oh, I thought that was such a fun movie. It was so much candy to eat. It was like going to a candy salad bar. It was so good.
Sure. Yeah, and then you throw up.
Oh, but it was
that much candy's not good for you.
I took my boys to see it, and we thought it was hilarious and funny and just so much fun, so joyous, so silly. I'm glad that that part of the comic book universe exists, that they do those kind of things.
Wow, shocked.
So I don't know if you guys want to cast your votes now, or we'll just digest that.
No. Well, let's put this out there, and we'll let people decide.
So cast your ballots at Ask Spodcast, hashtag Ask Spodcast, Spockcast on Twitter.
I'm sorry. What's the matter? You can't say it, can you?
And let us know what you think, if you have a favorite genre picture of the year. And so we'll dive into our best TV shows. Again, you guys can shoot some holes in this. Runaways, new show. Yeah. Stranger Things. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Tammy.
Why is there an asterisk next to this one I won't mention?
Oh, that I'm sorry. There's a clear winner in this category. I can't.
Is that why you put the asterisk there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. No, because that's the one I would pick. I'm just saying. I'm like,
we'll put an asterisk beside it then.
Another asterisk there. Okay,
yeah,
we'll do that because that's my vote.
We'll run it down here. So Runaways is the first nominee. Stranger Things season 2. The Good Place, which is
I'm not familiar with that one. I don't know what that one is.
The Good Place is a science fiction show that's being put on ABC. It's a science fiction comedy show. It's about what happens when you die. You go to the bad place.
Oh, is this the one with
Kristen Bell and
right? Okay,
and it is amazing. It is so funny and smart and well put together. It is. It's another one of those shows that I can watch over and over and over again. I would highly recommend people take that one in.
Yeah, that's not better than the next one. Just saying.
Yeah. So our fourth nominee and clear favorite of this category is Rick and Morty season 3.
Oh my God!
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I don't even know when it's on, but it's on YTV at like 2:00 in the morning, and I PVR like 4 episodes when it's on.
Yeah. This is one we actually bought on iTunes. We enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I have all 3 seasons on iTunes and have watched repeatedly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Supergirl season 3. So season, I guess, 2 and 3. I thought was one of the best they've done. Really good. Game of Thrones
2 and 3. Really?
Well, because if we're covering 2017, it kind of bridges both, right?
Oh,
I'm just confused as to why you're still reading. But go ahead.
Game of Thrones season 7. Game of Thrones. Lots of good stuff there. Twin Peaks: The Return to Twin.
No, I haven't seen. So here's my question to you a couple of months ago. Maybe this is for the fans as well. Is do you need to see the original Twin Peaks to appreciate the new reboot?
Wait, is the original Twin Peaks the Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me?
That was just the movie that came after. It was 2 seasons for a TV show, and then they did a film.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that David Lynch?
David Lynch. Yep.
David Lynch, yeah.
I think it's one of those things where you will get a lot more out of it if you have, but I don't think you have to.
Right.
There's a lot of familiar faces. There's a lot of callbacks. There's a lot. It'll make a lot more sense.
Sure. Okay.
More nominees. So Legion, which was Fox FXX show, which is based on a comic book, an X-Men character. I love that. David Hawley created a TV show, and I thought that was really, really trippy, weird. Like I like where they took that universe. Thought that was really good.
I haven't seen.
Of course, the reason that we're here, Star Trek Discovery was debut this year.
Star Trek Discovery? Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
How about The Orville?
Jeez,
definitely not The Orville.
No, I fell asleep every single time I tried to watch episode 1. Just saying. And I tried to watch it like 5 times. I gave up.
Yeah.
Mr. Robot, The Walking Dead, Fear of the Walking Dead.
I've heard of that one. I just added that one. Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
American Gods, Preacher.
Haven't seen that one yet.
American Gods is on Amazon Prime, and
no, I know. I haven't watched it yet. No, I know it. I have the book actually. I'm kind of working.
That's Neil Gaiman, right?
Neil Gaiman,
yeah.
Preacher and The Return of the X-Files. Those are our nominees.
January 3rd.
TV show of 2017. Clearly some early favorites for Rick and Morty, but again, hashtag #AskSpockcast and on Twitter and let us know what you think. I added a category for best new TV show because I think there's enough stuff there to
which is a good way to redeem those other shows.
So again, some of the familiar ones from the last category: Star Trek Discovery, The Orville, The Punisher, American Gods, Happy's good, Legion, and Runaways. All of which I'm enjoying.
So I was going to ask you. So Runaways, you're really enjoying Runaways, or you're kind of enjoying?
I'm actually really enjoying Runaways, and it has diverged from the source material in its way, in that they're stretching out the running away portion of it, because we're now up to episode. I think we're a week behind, which is my axe to grind for this week. We're a week behind here in Canada on what they're showing us compared to what's on Hulu in the States. But I think we just got episode 7, and the States just got episode 8, and we still have yet to have the running away portion of the Runaways happening. So that would be a little bit of an axe to grind. But I actually really like the development they're giving to the characters. I think both the kid characters and adult characters are getting a lot of definition, and I am enjoying it a lot. I do look forward to that one. Probably one of the most I look forward to any show of the week.
You know what we should probably put on the TV show one, now that I'm thinking about it, is God, what's it called? The one that got canceled. Dark Matter.
Dark Matter? Oh, you watched that. I haven't watched that.
Oh, they just canceled it.
Yeah. They just did they finished the 3rd season, right?
Yeah, and then they canceled it. Yeah.
Oh, we'll add it to the list.
Although it's, Rick and Morty's on that same category, so what's
the
point,
we could always do the best animated show, and then we'll just slam dunk it for...
How about the best canceled show?
Yeah.
Wait, it's not canceled, is it?
Dark Matter?
Dark Matter, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. You thought Rick and Morty was
canceled? I left for just a second. I heard Rick and Morty and then canceled. I freaked out.
No, but the one thing I will throw in is Rick and Morty, I think is all of us love it so much, but they give us so little. It's one of those, I wish they would give us more, but then I know it takes a long time to come up with that level of genius, so I don't want to knock it. But I know that it was awesome to get season 3, and I watched it every episode the second it came out. But we get through season 3, and now we know we're going to be waiting probably 2 years till the next season. So that's a long haul.
That's probably, like you said, the only show that I would be forgiving in waiting that long. Like someone said to me the other day, I was going to say we should rename this
podcast Rick and Morty podcast.
We should. We have so many podcasts.
No, we should rename this one Rick and Morty podcast.
Yeah. We should rename it from Spockcast because no one can say it.
Yeah. Well, you got to blame Jaime for that. I gave him so many options.
You should not
Boldly
have given
Go it was going to be the Boldly Go podcast initially. That's what I wanted to go with. But what do I know?
Oh, to Boldly Go would have been nice.
Yeah. No. Easy to say.
I could have done that in one freaking take. Just saying. I could have boldly gone elsewhere for 2 hours.
I still have the original. 40-minute recording of Tammy trying to.
Oh, you got to release that.
That could be our Christmas gift for everybody.
That's true.
It was freaking hilarious. Yeah. I could not say it.
All right, so we got Best Actor and Best Actress. Let's whip
All right,
those.
Best Actor. So Hugh Jackman for Logan, Patrick Stewart for Logan, Tom Holland for Spider-Man Homecoming, Chris Hemsworth for Thor Ragnarok. Hey, that guy was funny, like flat out funny in that movie.
That's true.
Which I don't think we knew he was until this. Ryan Gosling for Blade Runner 2049, Mark Hamill for Star Wars The Last Jedi, David Kaluuya for Get Out, or Andy Serkis for War of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Best Actress.
So you do know the guy that plays the guy who does the motion capture version of Andy Serkis's life story is going to win the Academy Award,
he is.
right?
Of course he is. Yeah. Best Actress. I have Daphne Keane for Logan. She's played the little girl. We'll just say little girl. Daisy Ridley for Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Oh wait, so was Split this year or last year?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think we should put Split under Best Actor.
Yeah, I'll look
stars next to the ones I know.
I'll look that up. Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Ana de Armas for Blade Runner 2049. She played the computerized girlfriend.
Wait.
And Tessa Thompson for Thor Ragnarok.
No, you're missing what's his face from
this is best actress category.
I love this category. What's his face?
No, you need to go up to best actor. I just realized you're missing someone. The guy that played
what's his face?
Deadpool.
Oh, that guy. That was last year.
Deadpool. Oh, Ryan.
That was last year.
Oh, really?
That came out in 2016. So did Split. I just looked it up. Split came out in 2016.
Oh. Dang it! A day late and $1 short.
I just watched Split. I watched Split yesterday.
Wait, Split. Oh, Split was good.
Split was good. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
That came out in September. It says January 20th. I guess it premiered. Technically, it's a 2016 movie, but it didn't actually get wide release until January of 2017. So there you go. Well, I can add that to the category.
Right.
We'll definitely add James McAvoy. Definitely gets onto the best actor list because that was pretty chilling stuff. So we'll add James McAvoy for our list of best actors.
I cannot believe Deadpool was 2016.
February of 2016. That was a long time ago.
Jeez.
Part 2's coming out. That'll be in our preview for 2018.
Oh, good. He can be
coming out in June
nominated for 2018.
Yeah.
See, I was looking to the future.
Yep.
The future. Yeah. Well, you should be looking to the future on this show.
So cast your ballots.
And beyond.
Ask Spockcast.
Wait, what?
Hashtag Ask
What's the name of the show?
Ask Spockcast. Well, I'm just trying to get those words in as quickly as I can. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. And
or ask boldly go.
Yeah, to boldly go. Can you change a show?
I can actually. Yeah, you can change the name of a show. Yeah. But yeah, it's getting the domain name.
I'm taking over. Listeners, if you want us to change the name of the show, write it.
You should tweet that out right now, Tammy.
Hashtag Spockcast, yes. Hashtag Spockcast, no.
No, we'll do a Twitter poll. We'll do it like Greg Heo does. So we need a third nomination. Then if we're going to need 3 names, I can go back through the list of names. It's all in the
our
Slack
boldly
channel.
Go.
Yeah,
it's action based and not Spockcast. But see now, look, there's a sort of comedic value here with the name.
We're also so wildly outside of just being a Star Trek podcast.
I know. I got to change the title of the byline about the show because we hardly touched the other shows at all.
Now that being said, we're only 4 days away from the return of Star Trek Discovery. We'll be back next week.
I saw the preview. The
return episode. So that's exciting.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap it up and let's do the picks of things we want to see.
I added my pick.
I see that. Yeah. So Jonathan, I saw a clip of what you were talking about there. What's this?
Perfection.
Really? Really?
Oh, the JPK you're talking about?
His initials.
No, all of his kids have P's in their name, right? So there's JPK, XPK, and FPK.
Yeah, it's a thing. And my father is actually HPK, so
HPK, yeah.
So cool. Now I know.
And to be fair, continuing that actually wasn't my idea. It was my beautiful wife's, but yeah.
Oh, she's easy for her to say. Her middle name's not. Well, she's SHK now. Right?
Well, she's SAK because her middle name is A. But
okay. For awesome.
She is awesome of perfection. We get along
you
great.
Just use the A word, Tammy. Just calling you out there.
So my pick for this week is there is a excellent YouTube clip, and we'll have the link in our doc here. Somebody is going through this VX company is going through and actually spicing up the lightsaber fight scene from Star Wars: A New Hope between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, which they make a valid point. It is a bit of a flat scene. It's it's an old guy and a robot having a fight. It's not the best fight scene in all the pictures. So they've gone through and they've added some digital effects to turn it into a much more exciting scene. They put a little teaser on there, so they've actually only put up 40 seconds of what that fight scene they envision looks like, and they're going to keep working on it. But the little teaser is enough to make me definitely want to check out what the final product's going to look like. They've got about a little over 1 million views already on YouTube, and it's fun to watch. I get that.
Well, but by the same token, though, I don't know that. See, I watched it, and I don't really buy the kind of action or the defensive action that Obi-Wan Kenobi goes through, because admittedly he is an older guy at that point in the story. And in the same way that Yoda versus Count Dooku was cute at first, it was funny and ha 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 and whatever. But in repeated viewings, it's just Yoda just looks annoying.
Yeah.
Like I sort of in my mind in the same sort of sense I said last week that Darth Vader was such a kick-ass bad guy to begin with, and then to have him end up on Emperor Palpatine's leash seemed a little belittling to me. But I don't know that the older Jedis really need to do the young man's sort of fighting style, right? I don't get it. Like they should be more like senseis, and sort of like minimal amounts of movement and have maximum impact, right?
It's true, but I would have liked to. In retrospect, this guy's still a Jedi Master. He still would have some.
Yeah.
And if you want to go,
but is he really there? Is he really there, Jonathan? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
If Obi-Wan is there and he's having that fight with Vader, theoretically,
Vader
not a
projection.
Is mostly robot at that point. He should be able to overpower him pretty fast. When we see what Vader does to Luke in Empire, he's ripping stuff off the walls, he's throwing it. It really should have been much shorter work, unless he was just messing with him. But it just never really culminated as an awesome sword fight scene, especially when we've had,
Well, in retrospect of the spoilers for the Last Jedi, but in retrospect, do you not think that now you can sort of buy the fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi was an astral projection, like a certain other character was in Last Jedi?
That he was an astral projection the whole time, or
yeah, oh yeah.
No, I think I buy more that he was there as Luke's guardian on Tatooine, and that he was training himself. So
why do Jedis just like in other Jedis, like when Dooku gets decapitated?
Yeah,
spoilers for you if you haven't watched that. I know, but when he gets decapitated, he gets decapitated. But if he's a Sith Lord, or if he should just like disappear, like
no, because they established at the end of Episode 3. Qui-Gon's ghost appears to Yoda and tells Yoda that he can teach him how to become one with the Force when he dies. And then Yoda says, "I'll teach you, Obi-Wan." So I think the idea is that only those that have gone through this very rigorous training can actually become one with the Force and become still spirits and appear and manipulate things. Whereas Dooku would have never have had that kind of training.
True, but then
and it's also supposed to be the real slap in the face for Anakin too, because Anakin is obsessed with not dying and not having Padme die in those prequels.
Right.
But then it turns out that he could have actually found a way to extend his life if he'd stayed with the good side of the Force, but he went to the dark side, and that of course was a myth. And although then he does become a ghost because George Lucas, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he becomes young again for some, I don't know. I'm lost.
Because George Lucas' wife won an Academy Award for editing Star Wars: A New Hope.
Yeah.
Not George Lucas.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say on that subject.
That's why they call it history, folks. That's why they call it history.
Yeah.
His story.
All right. So, Tammy, what do you got for your pick?
All right. So, for my pick, I was recently talking to Brian McDonald, who is the managing editor over at the Pragmatic Programmers, and he was telling me about Hamlet, which is a movie that was made in 2009 with my favorite Dr. David Tennant and my favorite actor, Patrick Stewart. Now I've not seen it myself because I've been desperately trying to find where I can watch it.
You haven't seen Broadchurch either, have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay, just want to establish that.
Tim, I'm going to smack you. But yeah, so that's my pick, even though I haven't seen it yet. If anyone knows where I can buy a copy of
this is the whole idea is these are things we want to see.
Oh, well then I totally want to see it because Brian told me to see it, and I trust him, and he knows that the 10th Doctor is my favorite and Patrick Stewart is my favorite. So yeah. So
apparently he also played in Richard II, according to this link you sent us.
Possibly. Yeah, that's my pick.
And Much Ado About Nothing as well. Look at that. He's a whole Shakespeare acting machine.
Oh wait, who are we talking about? David Tennant or Patrick?
David Tennant.
Oh yeah, and so is Patrick Stewart. And being all Christmassy and whatnot, Patrick Stewart did a fantastic redo of the whole Ghost of Christmas Past thing, whatever that is called. I don't even know what that's called, but that was great.
Wait a minute. Oh, have I got something for you, Tammy? Forget about Hamlet.
What?
You want to see Much Ado About Nothing, starring David Tennant and, wait for it, what's her name? Catherine Tate.
Catherine Tate?
You know what Catherine Tate is, right?
No. Am I?
The bride.
Who?
The bride.
What bride?
From Doctor Who.
Wait, the only bride I remember is Dr. Donna. Well, Donna, and she was getting married. Which bride are you talking about?
I'm talking about the very same woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, I loved. All right, we can't go down that road. But she's my Dr. Donna or Donna, either one. But I really loved her when she was Dr. Donna. I'm doing air quotes. You can't see it. She was my favorite, by far, my favorite of all the companions. But by far, no comparison.
Now, so wait. So why do you call her Dr. Donna?
Spoilers, because in one or a few episodes, she became like a Time Lord. She had doctor powers. Oh, you remember that?
So we've had a female doctor before.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Well, come on, Missy.
And as well as Missy.
She's a Time Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still crying about Missy. I was thinking about Missy and the Doctor. I'm like, oh, that's so like moonlighting. Bruce Willis and
Sam and Diane. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, no. No, moonlighting. Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah. No, really, that's her.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Yep. They're on the cover. It's funny they're on the cover, but they're not the main stars. Or is this in alphabetical order?
Wait, what are you? What? Because
I'm looking at IMDb.
Yeah,
I'm looking at IMDb.
David Tennant's the only one on the cover.
On Much Ado About Nothing?
Oh no, I didn't look on that. Looking at Hamlet. I'm slow.
Chad, is Jonathan still awake? I don't know. We might have lost.
Sorry, Doctor. What?
2009. What do you mean?
Oh, look, TIFF is having a Canada Top 10 Film Festival. Who's on this? Yeah. So, Jonathan, Wednesday, which we just missed, was Dark Crystal at TIFF.
It's back on again tomorrow as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And tonight they're showing 2001.
Yeah, I saw it. Carol and I went and saw that last year.
I've never seen that in the theater.
No, good in the theater. It's good to see all the. Well, I think they had the Stanley Kubrick exhibit last year too, right? Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Oh yeah, I didn't see that. That was I think that was last year.
Yep, that was quite good. Yeah, what else did I want to see it? Or tonight is Interstellar and Dunkirk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If that would look. All right. Well, I guess we better wrap it up, eh? So, hey, Jonathan, if people want to find you on interwebs, where they look.
I'm on Twitter as @JPK News.
All right. And Tammy, if people want to find you on the interwebs, where would they look?
You can find me on Twitter at Paradox927.
And didn't you have some big anniversary thing happen recently?
Oh, well, I think we shared that anniversary, Tim. It was the 100th episode of Roundabout Creative Chaos, which is another podcast that I roped you into. So anyone listening to this show should totally go check out that show.
Well, they probably do already.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure.
All three listeners.
To be fair, I actually did, after last week's episode, go listen to my first episode of Roundabout last week. So there we go.
Now, which one did you listen to?
The one with Jaime, because I thought that was appropriate.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
I figured I'd start with the most recent one, right?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. I was on there once as a guest.
In the way back.
Yeah. And she cut like half.
I did, because then I was all about, I need to keep this down to a certain amount of time. And I was like, screw it. Let it roll.
I'll suck up to Tammy from now on, and I'll see if I can get myself on there before the end of 2018.
Oh, yeah. Hey, before I forget, my name is Tim Mitra, and I am TIMMITRA in the Twitter machine. And that's it. We'll see you guys in the future. Bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Say Happy New Year, Tim. Happy New Year. Okay.
If you want to find out more about the podcast or see the episode show notes, visit the Spockcast website at spockcast.com. You can get in touch with us on the website or follow us on Twitter at Spockcast. If you have feedback or questions, send us a tweet with the hashtag AskSpockcast. If you like the show, please consider recommending us to a friend, writing a review on iTunes, or pledging any amount at patreon.com/Spockcast. You can find details on how to help us out on our website at spockcast.com/sponsor us. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the future. To talk about comic books in the actual show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so, but, so do you want to talk about your problem with Jonathan first of all?
Oh, yeah, Jonathan, totally.
Not that she has a problem with Jonathan. She has a problem
Damn it, Jonathan.
Talk about with Jonathan.
It's been one
such
episode.
A guy.
I mean, really.
Yeah, I told him I wasn't going to come here again if Jonathan was here.
Took Jaime at least 5 episodes before he had problems. I mean,
I don't care what they say about blood and water. Blech. Anyway.
We're not related by blood.
So see? Whiskey is better than water. No, I'm just kidding. So my brother is kind enough to be helping Tim and I with the theme music, because he did the theme music from Roundabout since...
Which I liked. I don't see why we have to have it changed, to be honest with you. There you go. I said it.
I don't, because I want something new.
Because you change your passwords in your new vault. I know.
I'm having a midlife crisis. Go with it. Right. Until the crystal skulls, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah. Sadly, the made up adventures in the comic book stories are better than the crystal skull. So
yeah, but that's not a high bar they have to jump over. I'm just saying.
No, fair enough.
It wasn't horrible.
Yeah, no, there was some horror in it. There were some horrific moments.
It was close to horrible.
The nuking the fridge was pretty bad. The jungle vine swinging, skinny Henry Jones III was not good.
The nuking in the fridge. Even the younger crew was like, "No, I don't think that would work." It's like, yeah, no, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I just loved how they put on the refrigerator, lead refrigerator, like they had that little. They zoomed in to that thing. Like, no, still no.
I think they're planning on doing Indiana Jones 5. I think what they should do for that one is definitely the adventures where his teeth and his hair start to fall out, and they continue. Every time he swings his whip, like some of his skin just flies off in dust.
How to make it across the parking lot in your walker.
They could have Shia LaBeouf come back and like stab him through the chest with a lightsaber.
Yeah, that's probably best.
Did you know he's like Shia LaBeouf? He is kind of on the fringe of everything.
Like craziness?
I don't want to say craziness because he could just be enlightened and really creative, but like he had this whole, I don't know the name of the thing he did, but like basically he sat in a room and people came in and...
Oh yeah, it was performance art.
Yeah. It was just...
I thought you were going to talk about his arrests and stuff like that recently.
Oh, he was arrested?
That too. Several times, yeah. I've had the pleasure of meeting Shia before, and he didn't seem like the sharpest knife in the drawer, although he seemed pretty intense. He's like way smaller than you think he is.
Really?
Yeah, he's a little dude.
I got to tell you, going to the Walker Stalker cons, a lot of the people that you see on the screen are way smaller when you meet them. And I'm like, we just, we met all the people, all the cast from Fear the Walking Dead. And I was like, in my mind, I wouldn't say this to them, but I was like, you guys seem so much bigger on the small screen.
Yeah.
It's like, it was kind of weird. It was odd.
Yeah. my perspective is usually skewed because I'm about 6'2", so I sort of have the assumption that I'm seeing.
Everybody looks up to Jonathan.
They're going to be like, if they're an action star, they're going to be my size. I was in LA doing some work about 10 years ago now, and I was walking down the street and I was thinking, it's funny, you don't see like random celebrities on the street. And sure enough, I walked around the corner and I saw Ron Perlman, who I love. I love Ron Perlman.
Wow,
I think he's fantastic. And he was standing out on the street corner across from a luncheonette, a kind of cafe or something, having a phone conversation. So I wasn't going to disturb him. I was just like, that's cool, Ron Perlman, all right. And I walked by and he sort of looked up and he sort of nodded his head at me, and I nodded my head at him, and I kept on walking, and I thought, he can't be 5'8". Like, he's so little.
Wow, really?
Like, he just seemed so small. I mean, he's stocky. He's certainly
this is a Hellboy we're talking about here, right?
And I was I was thinking like that just shattered my illusion of all that instantly. Like,
it happens with the Fear the Walking Dead cast. The guy who plays Madison's her new partner, the guy that's always with her, the guy that's always like the conniving one. What is his name? The guy that he had the boat. Why can't I think of his name? He had the boat and the boyfriend and
the dark guy.
Yeah, what is his name?
I can't remember.
Well, he's really tiny.
But he was there. Is he really?
Like super tiny. Like even.
Yeah, no, because on the show he seems to be like a big guy.
Right, and when we met him, I was like, "Wow, you're tiny. You're like little." And I'm not huge. Like I'll take pictures with my kids, and I look so small standing next to my children because I'm not a big person. I'm not formidable,
According to IMDb, Ron Perlman is 6'1". There's no way.
No, we just saw him in Nashville at the Walker Stalker. He was there, and no, he's not. He doesn't seem really big.
No,
not me.
No. Again,
you know who was really cool? Bruce Campbell.
Bruce is awesome. He
seems the size in real life that he does on the screen.
Yeah, but he's tall and lanky. He's not like super muscle guy, but he's tall and like long arms, long legs.
But now the two that he plays with in Ash versus the Evil Dead, I don't know what it is. It's the series. I think it's the series. Ash versus
that's Ash versus the Evil Dead. Yeah,
that's the name of the series too.
Yep.
Okay, so in Ash versus Evil Dead, the series, he plays alongside. I don't know the actors' names, but Pablo and the chick. I don't know her name either. Her. I don't even know her character name. But those two, two, they were like tiny people. But on the screen, they seemed really, really big and formidable. But when Bruce Campbell came out, I don't know if it's just because he's Bruce Campbell, but he seemed like exactly the size I would imagine, whereas the other two, I thought they'd be bigger.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm looking this stuff up as we go. Bruce Campbell's 6'1", so Ray Santiago is the guy who plays Pablo.
Yes, Ray Santiago, that's it.
He's 5'6". So yeah, fair enough.
Now who's the girl?
Lucy Lawless?
No. She plays next to Pablo.
Oh, Dana Kelly.
Yes, Dana.
Yeah, she's 5'3". Dana De Lorenzo plays Kelly.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and I got to tell you, all three of them, if anyone has a chance to see them live, oh my goodness, they were just, that was the best experience at the Walker Stalker in Nashville, was seeing those three live on the podcast stage.
Yeah. I think Bruce just sort of tends to hold court wherever he goes. He's just incredibly charming.
He's fantastic. He asked him about the Walking Dead and Daryl Dixon, and he's like, he's so dreamy.
Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. From their innovative ceramic materials to sexy automatic divers, from ultra-thin dress watches to solar-powered statement pieces, and everything in between, Movement is making sure you're the good gifter this year, for your family, your friends, or for yourself. And now you can take advantage of 30 to 50% off Movement's California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories to get them a gift they'll never forget. With fast, free shipping and returns and amazing bang for your buck, Movement makes for a relaxed shopping experience. And with one-size-fits-all watches, it's an easy, elegant gifting experience too. Shop 30 to 50% off now at mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.